Welcome everybody. My name is Nat McCormick. I'm a designer here at McCormick Stevenson Corporation in Clearwater, Florida. I'm here today to teach you guys a little bit about Mapkeys and Creo Parametric 3.0 and how they can improve your workflow and help you in your day-to-day tasks. So I'll show you a few things that you can do in a model like a part or an assembly. We'll do a few drawing shortcuts and then also show a little bit about how to modify your UI to maybe embed the map keys in there. So we'll get right into it. I'm going to open a part here, and in this part, if we just go to get to the actual map key creation menu, just go to File, Options, Environment, Map Key Settings. Like everything in Creo, there's probably 10 ways to get there. That's the way I always get to that menu. So once you see this map key dialog box, you'll see that it'll as you add map keys to your configuration file, they'll be listed here. I've only got one in this config.pro. So here you can create new ones, edit old ones, much of what you would expect there. So we'll hit new and pick a key sequence. This key sequence is what you're going to actually hit to execute the map key. So Creo is always, kind of listening for these key sequences and looking for those. So as soon as it sees that key sequence hit, it's going to run this map key. So it's very important to note that you don't want to use, just one key like D, because then as soon as anyone hits D, it's going to run that. So I recommend making your map keys key sequences at least 3 characters long, or use some type of special character to avoid conflicts with other users and other map keys. So we'll pick that as our key sequence here, and let's make one that measures the distance surface to surface. So we can type that in for the description, and some of this description and name is what's going to show up if you add things to your user interface. So once we've done that, we're ready to go. Usually for this type of thing, you just want to record keyboard input, so it's going to literally record your keystrokes as you log them. So we'll go ahead and hit record. Now you want to go do whatever you're going to do. In this case, we're going to measure, and we're going to leave it or change our selection set to surface, since we want to measure distance surface to surface. So at this point, this map key is done. So you can hit stop and OK. And you'll see now that map key show up in our list there. And so now if we I'm going to hit DSS, run our map key, it launches the measure summary and changes our selection set to surface. So then I can just go ahead and pick my measurement, and that will always be there. So what you want to do once you've recorded a map key that you like, you can hit the save buttons here. Now save all is I would not recommend doing that. It's going to save everything in your configuration file again, like kind of duplicate it. So what you typically want to do is just say save changed and browse to the applicable config.pro, if whichever one maybe is in your startup directory. So in this case, we want to save it to that config.pro, and you can see now I know that I'm up to date because there's nothing changed. So we'll close this window. So we've done that, and you can envision how, that's a simple application, but you could create map keys to do any kind of thing while you're in a model or an assembly. So that's just one simple example, but a very useful one. So next, let's look at how map keys can help you out in a drawing. And I think this is, for me, a lot of the benefit of where map keys save you a bunch of time in your day. So again, we're in a drawing. It's got some dimensions. Let's go back to the map key dialog box here. And, some of the things you do all the time when you're making drawings are, add a 2x in front of a dimension, or a min or max after the dimension, or maybe changing it to a basic, or changing the number of digits in a dimension. So if you can create map keys to automate some of that, it keeps you from having to go into the dimension properties 100 times to do the same thing over and over. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and select a dimension because it needs a dimension to be selected to kind of start the map key. So when you go to run the map key, you will select a dimension and then hit the key sequence. So we'll select a dimension just for recording purposes, and we'll hit new. And let's make one that puts a 2x on a dimension. So I picked a key sequence, and we'll say 2x. So again, dimension selected, hit record, go into your properties box in the display tab. And I like to put the 2x in the field here because then it shows up outside of your basic dimension box. I believe there's DTL settings to control that as well, but this is the way I've done it here. So go ahead and put the 2x there, hit OK. This map key's done. Now you can hit stop and accept that one. So let's say we want map keys also to put min after a dimension. So we'll do that. We'll get it ready. Again, dimension selected. Hit record. Right click. Properties box. Go to display. This time let's put it in the suffix space min. Okay. There it is. Okay, it's good to go. So now we could run that map key here also. Oops. Once we stop and accept that. Boom. So one thing I like to do with the prefixes and the suffixes there is make a map key to remove them, because sometimes you might accidentally put it on or it needs to change. So we can make another map key. Let's highlight that one again, and let's call it -dmin to remove it. And this would be applicable to any suffix, so you could call it minus suffix or something to that effect. So we'll go ahead and hit record, right click, properties, display, and just blow away that suffix. Hit OK, stop, OK. And now we've got a map key to remove a suffix. So now we can run this, it adds it, -dmin, blows it away. So, and you can stack them. So you can run 2x, dmin, and then maybe remove that. And likewise, it's good to make a map key to blow away the 2x also. So we can say, and I'll call it 0xd, have something selected there, hit record, right click, properties, display. This time I usually just make it at D, which is kind of the default there. Stop, OK. So now you can see that one listed there. So now we can hit, instead of the 2x there, you can hit 0xd, boom, and it keeps your min, and it only blows away the prefix there. So obviously we could record as many, we could have 3xd and record that one quickly too. So we'll make this one 3x. So now we can go between 3x, 2x, and it's easy to see how you could make them for any number there. And that's extremely helpful when you're doing drawings. So you can also select multiple dimensions and run these map keys. So makes it real quick. Another one that's really good to add here is basic dimensions. When you're doing geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, you're frequently selecting and making dimensions basic. So same thing applies. You can select a dimension, create a new one. Let's make it DBAS, basic dimension. I'll hit record, go to the properties, display, basic, or you could do an inspection one if you use that. OK, stop, OK. So now we can make dimensions basic also. And all you have to do is type that shortcut, and you can select a bunch of dimensions, and it'll make them all basic simultaneously. That's another good one to record a one that removes it. So yeah, I recommend doing that, or you could make it nominal to make it nominal instead of minus dbas, whatever you want for your key sequence. So record, right click, properties, display, neither. Stop it. Okay. So yeah, now I can remove that also. Another good one to do that you'll use a lot is modifying the number of digits on a dimension to kind of change, which applicable block tolerance is being used. So let's say we want to make one for making dimensions a two-place dimension. So again, same thing, key sequence, select the dimension, hit record, right click, properties, same thing, just change the decimal place in the properties tab. Hit OK, stop, OK. Now I can make it two places. You can obviously, record one that, does whatever decimal places you want. So we could have one that goes back to 3. So this is super helpful because you can, again, select a bunch of dimensions simultaneously and change them. So you can see how pretty quickly you could create a bank of map keys in your config setting or your config.pro that really streamline the drafting process and make it so that you have consistent results across different users making drawings. So another good one, you can make one that sets a symmetric tolerance. So hit record, same thing as before, key sequence, record, properties, tolerance, symmetric. You could even have them that put in different numbers, but I usually like to leave it here and then stop it right there. And then it kind of takes you right there, hits symmetric, and then you're ready to put in whatever number you would like for that one. So yeah, you can see, and then likewise, you could have one that goes back to nominal. So same thing, key sequence, record, back to nominal. So yeah, now I can highlight a dimension or a group of dimensions. Symmetric, can change the number, good to go. All of a sudden, checker doesn't like it, change it back, just like that. So those are super helpful when you're doing drafting stuff. I think these will really save you a bunch of time. And you don't have to physically sit and record them here. Once you record one that you like, for instance, the 2x dimension, you could simply come straight to the config file, which if we look, oh, I didn't save it. Let's show that first. So we've made all these map keys. Let's save changed again to config.pro. Boom. We're good. So we saved them all to this start folder config.pro right here. So if I edit that, and I'll do another video on config.pros, it's important to edit them in Notepad or WordPad, because if you do it in Microsoft Word, you'll be real sorry. Corrupts it and you won't be able to use it again. So this is the config.pro. It's got, a bunch of settings and configuration stuff that's for another day. But if you scroll to the bottom, when you hit that save changed, you can see it just stacks them up here, all the map keys with no spaces in between. So it is good once you save, especially a group of them, to come in and kind of curate your config.pro. And you can see my original point, like the two places map key. I could come in here and just pop in a new one. This is your key sequence. So I could change it to 4 place. And right here where it changes the digits, I could change that to 4. So, and then obviously if you have descriptions and things, like where's one with a description? Yeah, see, you could come in here and change the description also. So I think that's helpful. Don't forget to save when you leave your config.pro or you'll be sorry. So those are the map keys that you can do in a drawing or a part. Well, next, let's look at how we can make map keys to create maybe different client configurations. And this is really helpful when you have maybe multiple clients, multiple projects that you want to run separately with different configuration files. So if we go back in to Creo 3, go to Options, Environment, Map Keys. So what we need to do is create a map key that applies a new configuration file and possibly set your working directory to a different place. So, you know, it could load, like I said, a particular project config file that has various search paths for that project defined, and then also set your working directory to wherever that needs to be. So if we say new, we can, you know, call it whatever we want, project, hit record. What you would do is go to File, Options, Configuration Editor, and this is where you can import a configuration file. So you would browse to wherever the config file you want to load is, run it, hit OK. Whoops. Well, yeah, I'm loading my same config that I had there. So you would run your config file like that, go to Manage Session, select Working Directory, browse to whatever new working directory you want to be in, hit OK. Then you stop the map key, then you're good. Again, save changed, save it to your startup config.pro so that it's available to you when you boot. Then you'll have a map key that applies a config file for search paths and various things and sets your working directory in the right place. So a good thing to do once you make some of these map keys is you'll probably want to add them to a user interface so that users don't have to necessarily memorize every single key sequence. So to do that in Creo now, you do you edit the .ui file. So you can get there several ways. You can go here to just customize the ribbon. I just right-clicked in here, customize the ribbon, and you can come and you can see here, it's looking at my main tab. So it's saying I have a home tab here. I can say add a new tab. It's going to add one up here. We can call this tab whatever we want. Let's call it projects. Boom. So in the tab, you can add groups, you can do all kinds of things like that. So in here, you can add any command you wanted, or we can go and add map keys. And this is where you can see some of the descriptions coming through, and then some of the ones I was lazy on and didn't type a description. It just puts in the key sequence. So here I could drag in the distance surface to surface up into, it's not wanting to do it, there we go. Drag it up there, drops it in. I can change the size of the button, you can edit the image, you can even go load an image that you want. You could, you know, make custom icons and go nuts with this. So you can see now a user could come up here and, you know, run, this could be the project tab. So for all your various projects, somebody doesn't need to know where the config is. They just open Creo, look in the projects tab and say, oh, that's the project I'm working on. And they click that. So that's helpful. Again, you're going to want to export your settings. So in the options menu here, just go to import, export ribbon and quick access toolbar customizations. So you only want to export user customizations. Put this wherever you want. Initially, it needs to end up in the start folder. So Creo Parametric customization, yeah, overwrite it. So now if you relaunched in theory, you would have those new tabs and everything. So that's good. There is a config setting that you might need to apply. Let me show you. If I go to the config.pro, where is it? Load UI customization from the run directory. You set that to yes. Just add that to your config.pro, and it'll launch the one that's in your start directory. Because Creo's going to look in multiple places for that. One of them's down in your user directory and in other places. But I like to have it load from just the one load point. So yeah, that kind of shows you how to modify the menu system there. I think if there's something in particular that you guys would like to see, just maybe leave a comment below or send me an email at nat.mccst@mccst.com. I'd be happy to create a video or explain anything in more detail. Thank you.